Right. It is time to talk about the ZTE Max. ZTE Max? The ZTE ZMAX. Now, this phone has been it's a real pleasure to use this phone. It really is. It does have some drawbacks though, and mostly from, well, the size. Let's go over the specs once again very quickly. You have a 5.7-inch screen. You have 1.2 gigahertz Qualcomm CPU processor, Android 4.4.2 KitKat, Bluetooth 4.0, GPS, Wi-Fi calling. You know, pretty much everything and a bag of chips is stuffed in here. External SD card up to 32 gigs. Internal internal storage that is 16 gigs. Very nice. Like I said before, button placement and how this phone naturally is held in your hand. They got the button placement just right. Volume rocker to the sides here, along with the SD card is right here. On the other side is your power button, nothing else. On the bottom, of course, is your menus. Up top, 3.5mm headphone jack. At the bottom, micro USB port. And the RAM is 2 gigs. So pretty snappy device. And the stock is near ROM. What the heck is near ROM? The ROM is near stock. KitKat. If you haven't seen the unboxing, please go check out the unboxing and come on right back. But right now we're going to talk to you about my full thoughts on this. I also have an article that should be up pretty much the same time as you're watching this. So if you really want my full thoughts on the phone, then check out the article and also check out this YouTube video. It's gonna have a little thoughts that is gonna be there that I won't say here, and some things that I'm gonna say here that I won't put on the actual review that's on the website. The first thing I want to talk about actually is the build quality. Now, this is an aluminum, pretty much all the way around there. There's some plastic around here somewhere, I'm sure, but it's pretty much an aluminum, very solid phone, and it's a big phone. To be aluminum, it's kind of something you have to have a balance between size and the actual material you're going to use to build a phone. Whether you're going to do plastic, or whether you're going to do aluminum, or whether you're going to do a little bit of both to give it kind of that solid feel, like the Samsung Note 4 or the Samsung or the God, I forgot the name of the other one that has the aluminum band around it. And you really have to kind of weigh that in, because you don't want the phone to be too heavy, because this is a big phone to be completely aluminum with very little plastic. So and it does weigh down a bit when you're taking calls, especially when you actually feel the real weight of your phone. So if your phone is like this, which is, I think it's like 6.6 ounces, 6.7 ounces or something like that. And it's a big phone, and it's made completely of aluminum. It feels premium in the hand, but when you're talking on it, you can feel that weight after about 20 or 30 minutes. Long calls will happen. So when they do happen is when the weight of this phone will really start to play out. Except for one thing that's really odd. On the back, you have a smooth back here. Okay, a smooth back. If you look, they have the IMEI number here on the back of the phone, and it's kind of odd, because if you like things to be kind of balanced, kind of matching, or kind of like to have your devices to have a smooth, clean look all around, it's really odd to have this clean back. Have the ZTE, very simple logo, not distracting or anything like that. And like I said before in the unboxing, no T-Mobile logo on the back, which is kind of odd, but I do like the fact that it's not there. And very faintly, they have some model numbers and build codes here, but then they have this sticker, the IMEI, the IMEI sticker. Why did you need to put this on the back of the phone? Why does it need to be there at all? I just I don't understand. It's you get your these kind of numbers. You get your IMEI numbers, your serial number, your model number. All this stuff is on the box of the your devices when you buy them. Most of the time, if not damn near all the time, it is. So to have it here on the back is a little weird. Let's talk about the screen. The screen is a 5.7 inch 720p HD screen, and you know, this is one of those times where, yeah, 1080p would be really nice, especially on a screen this big. However, 720p actually doesn't look that bad at all. Actually, it looks very, very nice, very clean, very it's just a really clear screen, great for readability, great for reading and browsing web, especially playing games if that's your thing like me. I'm not a color guru or anything, so as far as I'm concerned, the colors popped, and that's why I really want to say that the screen really does look good. Usually don't talk about the sound when it comes to phones, because most phones have horrible sound as far as if they have any sort of helpers, enhancers. Take a look at my Blue Life 1X review to see that audio enhancement, which I thought was just gimmicky and crap, and I turned it off. And this was a little bit better. They have a Dolby audio enhanced sound that comes with this phone. Now it's software based as far as I know. If it isn't, then tell me in the comments, but I believe it's software based, and actuality is not that bad. I had a noticeable difference, a good difference in audio quality when I'm watching my YouTube videos when I had the Dolby turned on. Now, as for my music, I didn't like it so much. I thought it pushed things a little too far as the bass and the mids they weren't that great. So I was like, I do like bass. I'm a bass head, but I don't like it when it's enhanced with any kind of software or equalizers or things like that. So when I'm listening to music, there's a widget that I can put on my screen so that I can turn the Dolby enhanced audio on or off with a simple touch, no problem. I keep the widget on my screen, and I go ahead and turn it on when I'm watching videos and my media content, and then I can simply tap and turn it off so I can listen to my music unaltered and unbothered by any sort of enhancements, things like that. Like I said, the performance is very snappy. I had no problems getting in and out the OS, getting in and out of apps, bouncing around, jumping out my menus, jumping through settings, all that stuff. It was just great, and it's really a good thing to see, because this is technically a mid-end phone, and it's really getting difficult to buy a $500, $600, $700 phone when you get this much performance for just $200. You know, a little over $200 I think is the actual full price for this phone. But on T-Mobile financing, you can pick it up for about $130 or less, and then add about $4 a month to your actual bill plan. That's not bad at all. Yeah, it's bad it doesn't have root. Hey, you know, root just fell short for now, that is. And hopefully the updates don't fall short, because you have updates on this phone as well. But one thing I did find out is the text messaging app. The text messaging app is very mediocre, very basic, and that's not such a big deal, except for they went even further and left the 160 character limitation in the text messages. So the 160 character limitation, when I saw that and I saw the message pop up talking about you're gonna send 2 SMS, you're gonna send 3 SMS due to the length of this message, I was kind of annoyed, really annoyed with that. That's really weird. Why the heck would you actually have that in a text messaging app? Now I understand if you have it by default, but they don't even allow you the option to convert the message into MMS so that you don't look, so it doesn't look like you're blowing up your the person you're texting. It doesn't look like you're blowing up their phone because you're sending so many messages. Well, you're not actually sending a whole lot of messages. You probably only sent 2 messages, but those messages were above the 160 character limit, so you blew up their phone, and their phone is going off 4 or 5 times because they have to receive 2 or 3 messages. Just for the 1 message you sent. So that was slightly annoying. Now for the camera, I actually did shoot a separate video for the camera segment, but I decided to change my mind and I took a bit of a deeper look at the camera, and it has a lot of things to it. It is an 8 megapixel shooter. It's definitely not gonna I don't know, it's not gonna write home. It's not gonna send any bells or whistles off or anything like that, especially in today's market where the phone cameras are pretty strong, 13 megapixel, 16 megapixel, and higher even for phone cameras these days, which is kind of amazing. But this shooter actually, it's kind of flexible. It has a bunch of different modes, from night mode or low light mode as they call it. That as panoramic, and the panorama is actually a almost 360 degrees panorama. It goes way longer than what I originally thought. You see the picture here where I was able to spin almost completely around pretty much for the panorama mode, and it took that huge wide shot. It's kind of amazing. I didn't know that they really go to that extent. The last panorama mode I had on I think it was my Galaxy Nexus, it didn't go that far. So yeah, pretty nice panorama mode. It has a bunch of other different crazy modes, and all those modes actually do work in video as well. So you can see here where I was at the park and I did a bunch of video in different effects, and it showed just fine. I definitely like the mono mode. I like black and white pictures and what have you. And so all these modes work in both video and picture, and it also has a bunch of different little effects as well that also work in the different pictures and videos. And so I thought that was pretty nice. If you don't want to choose between any of them, it has an auto where it will switch between the different modes as it sees fit. I don't know how well it works. I didn't test it that much. It seemed to be okay. The camera's pretty fast. The shutter speed is pretty quick, so that's not something you have to worry about. If shutter lag is something that that annoys you, you won't have this problem with this phone. You can't forget about the battery life. The battery life, like, I don't know, if you're a regular 9 to 5 worker like me, you work 8 hours a day or a little more than that on occasion, or every day, maybe you work 12, 13 hours, you're not gonna find much use in bringing your charger. Depends on what type of job you do. If you have downtime like I do, and you have time to play games and stuff like that, then you may wanna bring your charger just in case. And I do mean just in case because this phone here, I tried my darndest. I tried to actually run this battery down within 9 hours. And the best I could do, I think, was 15%. And that's still about three hours worth of use. So yeah, I couldn't run it down in that time. I got anywhere from 10 to 12 hours of battery life out of this phone pretty much every day. I ran the benchmarks on the phone. Now, please be aware, benchmarks do not actually tell you about the daily experience. It doesn't give you an actual representation of how the phone is going to be when you're using it. It just gives you whatever scores from the test they run to tell you how good the phone performs. So I ran Antutu, I ran Quadrant, and I also ran Geekbench. And so those scores were about expected for a 1.2 gigahertz quad-core Snapdragon 400 processor. It's not the top of the line processor for Qualcomm anymore. That's their 800 and 801 processors as their top of the line, and that's what's in the current high-end phones right now. But of course those scores, like I said, they're kind of pointless. They don't really do anything. But I know that people still consider them, so I did run them, and there you have it. Okay, let's wrap this up. All right, the ZTE ZMAX point blank and period. It has a great price, great performance, great battery life, and it's also a near stock experience of Android 4.4.2 KitKat. You can't really ask for much more than that in phones, but it does go a little bit further. It gives you a great sound experience, audio experience with Adobe Widget. You actually do get up to 32 gigs SD card storage, and you get 16 gigs internal storage with the phone as well. So it really does go further than what it needed to go to, and also it gave you dual mic noise canceling, which actually does work. It helped me out quite a lot, and so I think that point blank and period, this is not just a good phone, this is a great phone. And if you can handle the fact that it is big, it is heavy. It's not heavy, but like I said, when you're in a longer call, you're gonna feel the weight of this phone. If you can handle that, then what you have here is a media powerhouse. YouTube, games, anything you can throw at it. I've even taken a liking to typing up my documents like I did for this review on this phone while I was at work, and I had no problem because of all the real estate I had and how much room I had to type on it. I don't have too many complaints about this phone besides, like I said, the weight and this weird thing on the back, the weird IMEI sticker on the back, which is pointless. I have no idea why they did that. So yeah, very good. Great speeds, and not to mention, I almost forgot to say 4G LTE. So yeah, you can't do much better than the ZTE ZMAX. Make sure to check out the review on the website, and also check out a lot of my anime content that's also on the website at eshcole.com. Don't forget to check in on me on Facebook, and also I'm on Google Plus. I'm on Twitter. I'm even on Instagram. But hey, check me out. Find me on all those social sites. Punch in Eshcole. I'll come right up. You have a good one. See you.